Ready to start the Prattville City Council meeting for Tuesday, March 19th. We're going to ask that you stand for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag and remain standing for our invocation given by the mayor tonight. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And if anybody would bow with me. Dear Lord, as we're meeting today to conduct matters of city business, I ask of you to guide our hearts, our minds, and our tongues in the spirit of fairness, right thought, and speech. Impart your supreme wisdom into us and to our daily activities so that they reach a successful conclusion. Thank you for being our source of guidance, for being our source of wisdom, and for being our ultimate provider. Lead us one and all to be fair and just. In Jesus' name, amen.
As clerk, call the roll.
Councilor Strickland. Here. Councilor Wood.
Here.
Councilor Brown. Here. Councilor Starnes. Here. Councilor Chambliss. Here. Councilor Bowles. Here. Councilor Boone. Here.
Call the meeting to order. The character trait of the month, ladies and gentlemen, is sincerity, eagerness to do what is right with transparent motives. Have approval for the minutes. Public hearing in City Council meeting March the 5th, 2013.
So moved.
We have a motion to approve those minutes. We have a second.
Second.
A second. All in favor signify by raising your right hand. Those minutes are approved. At this time, we have comments from persons present regarding tonight's agenda. If you'd like to speak on any issue on this agenda, please raise your hand. Mayor.
Yes, sir. If I again might ask for a point of privilege.
Yes, sir.
And at this time, I'd like to turn the microphone over to our Fire Chief, Chief Brown.
Thank you, Mayor, Madam Clerk, Mr. President, Council. Catching up on our Firefighter of the Year, now tonight we have the 2012 Firefighter of the Year, and if y'all indulge me just a minute, I'm going to ask Sergeant Strength and his family to come up with Chief Johnson. The one thing about this award that everybody should know is it comes from your peers. It's voted on by your peers, so that makes it tremendously special in my mind. And this individual is a veteran sergeant with the department, focused and committed. We talk about character, an example. Talk about leadership, the example. Takes on tasks right and left, saves citizens tons of money. I hate to say it like that, just on working on stuff. And the guys back there will tell you, he'll take on any project in return, just does my budget well, because that's what we're looking for. And I'm honored all the time that I've known Kenny and his family and knowing his commitment. I'm honored at this time to present you with the Firefighter of the Year 2012. And also a ribbon for your badge. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I just want to basically just thank everybody that, like you said, this is voted on by my peers at the fire department. I want to thank all of them for giving me this opportunity, for voting for me for this. It's a great privilege knowing that came from them. So.
If I can ask all my guys to come up, we're going to form on this in front of the dais here, and Teresa's going to get a picture best you can.
chin as best you can. I turn sideways and, yeah, scoot.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, ma'am.
Mayor, thank you again. We congratulate the firemen and all the fire department. And again, that just lets us know the type of employees that we have at the city of Prattville.
Most
Yep.
certainly, I'll have to echo that, and thank you, Chief, for arranging that. And at this point in time, I'd like to continue this point of privilege and ask Gene Hall to come up and talk to us briefly about the county fair.
It's going to give me a privilege to be addressing you, such an august group. I bring a message from my board, my former board, my past members of my board, and myself, how much we appreciated you and the administration and all your departments. We could not have done the job we did without them. I mean, we could do a job, but not as we did. They were behind us 100%, and thank God, Lord, they did. And I'm here to thank you again. And the Mayor, since you're standing here, I want to present you with a small check from the Talk County Fair Association, a check for $10,000 for the pad, the coat pad, the splash pad.
Okay.
That's our donation to the city, and thank y'all very much.
Thank you.
All righty?
Well, if I heard you correctly, this is to go toward
Splash pad.
the splash pad itself. Well, I'll pass this right along right now to the city
Okay.
clerk.
Okay. We didn't, what do you call it when you make it somewhere to go there? It's for that special.
Okay.
Thank you
Dedicated
so
for
much.
that.
Love y'all.
Thank you. Well, that was a surprise, and that was one point of privilege that I'm glad that you recognize, Council President. A few things I want to talk about before we move along to the agenda is that, as we're all aware, we had our opening day at Newton Park and Whetstone Ballpark, and there was a lot of work behind the scenes before those activities before all that could have happened, and a lot of that behind the scenes activity was because of our Parks and Rec department, but also our engineering and also our wastewater departments. And at this point in time, I'd like to throw a few names of some more city employees who have actually probably done above and beyond of what their normal duties are. But some of the names I have here out of engineering is George Williams, Mike Taylor, Arthur Taylor, David Gardner, Garrett West, Ed Davis, Robbie Anderson, and in wastewater is Dale Gandy, Jody Fuller, Sam Russell, Rick Teague. Parks and Rec is Kelly Cook, Devin Peak, Gary Smith, Summer Ammons, and without all their hard work and dedication there, the opening day for those two ballparks definitely would not have happened. And I want to thank District 7 Laura Lee Boone. She was gracious enough to throw the first pitch out at Whetstone, and hope you enjoyed that experience just as much as I did over at Newton Park with that. But there's so many things that were going on that weekend. I know there was some tennis in some other areas, and it was a very eventful weekend. The weather, I don't believe, could have been any better. But as I move along on this, this coming Thursday, March the 21st, City Government Day for Adult Leadership. I know, I believe President Pro Tem Albert Stripling is going to be here to greet that group along with myself and other departments there. But, Leadership Otaga, I think, has meant so much to this area that, as I have been through it, and I know several people in this room have been through it, and it brings a lot to the community. It builds some lasting relationship, and I hope that in the near future, the city council, the different departments can work even closer with the youth and adult leadership Watauga. On Thursday evening, also there's a membership appreciation that the Chamber of Commerce is putting on. It's 2013 Business Expo. Hope everybody can meet me there also on that. That's another event I think helps bring this community together. Friday evening, as I'm certain you're all aware, is our Fountain City Arts Festival dinner. Definitely will be there. Honoree then is Debbie Bond, and she's also is going to be Alabama Blues Project will be there. There's always also been a favorite of mine because of the silent auction, good entertainment, and great food. Starts off at 6. If you need any tickets, get in touch with Kelly Cook on that. On Saturday, we have a full day planned also. The Fountain City Arts Festival in the park kicks off at 9. North Highland Fun Day is at 10. Both events are open to the public. At noon, our firefighter, fire medic, and police officer of the year will be honored at the VFW. Hope to see each and every one of you counselors there. I know I'll definitely be there. But as I move on into the agenda, one of the first things I want to talk about is Resolution 6. I know there's been a lot of people look at that and see that we're talking about levying 7 mills ad valorem tax. But as a reminder, I've done this several times now, and the previous administration has done it also. It's just a reminder, this is just housekeeping. There's no additional millage tax being applied out there. So this is strictly housekeeping. All the other ordinances and resolutions are just some of our day-to-day activities, surplusing some property. We're a couple of little nuances we have in there, though, is like resolution number 5. It's where you guys will be asking to be amending the budget to add in the $100,000 so we can move forward on the splash pad. And, of course, to remind everybody that $100,000 comes from the Coca-Cola Challenge that helped named Pratt Park America's favorite park. If you can move forward on that also. Resolution 7 and 8 was another very beneficial activity for our community. It's where the YMCA is trying to have a special needs baseball field, and the city of Prattville is pretty much just a pass-through or conduit on that to help out with some of the financing. But the rest of it, Resolutions 9, and it's a hiring of a wastewater operator. And in my opinion, the agenda should be a straightforward approval on all of this tonight. With that said, Mr. President, that's all I have to report.
Thank you, Mayor. Anyone have any questions or comments, complaints?
One complaint over here.
One complaint now. I was able to make it to the Newton Park, the girls softball. I just wanted to say thank you to Kelly Cook and Devin. They did an outstanding job getting the parks ready. Their whole, just not y'all, but I mean your whole departments, really those parks were top notch. More than any other year in the past that I've seen them. Really enjoyed being there, and if you want a free breakfast, call him up, invite him to breakfast, and leave your wallet at home. Works every time. But I really appreciate y'all's work. Thank you.
Well, thank you for bringing up about Newton Park. And there was a lot of hard work, and actually there was some work that went on today that adjusting and replacing some light bulbs at Newton Park. Some lights were adjusted and replaced at Whetstone, and because of the cooperation from all the different entities, I think there was a big savings to the city in that area. And but one thing I do need to say to echo on that also is that the leagues, both the baseball and the softball leagues, actually helped out around some of the parks also. I know at Newton Park, the girls softball league, they actually did a little pressure washing up there. So it's just really one way that the community is really trying to pull together in a time that is, the economic situation that the whole country is being in. I think it just has everybody to want to try to pull together as a family unit. And so hopefully we're getting very, very close to that. But if nothing else, I'll go sit down. Thank you.
At this time, we have a report on the status of the city finances from our finance director.
Provided everyone with a financial report. It should be in front of you. This report's going to be a little bit longer than normal. I do have a few special things I need to discuss. You will see the first sheet is the revenue reports as the reports have been in the past. I know Councilor Bowles had asked about lodging taxes at one time previous. You will see that on the lodging tax we are at 11.64% over where we were last year, which is positive. That line item is starting to catch up again due to the new hotels that have arrived and opened. The revenue report that you have in front of you is just very slightly different than the one that was emailed out Friday. Close to the bottom of the year to date, the 198.22% is positive, where on the one that was emailed out it is negative. You'll notice that I changed the as of date. That was just because of a formula error. But you will see that we are 5.55% over where we were last year as far as revenues at this point. Okay, the next sheet is the tax breakdown comparison. That shows line by line on the different types of sales and use taxes, how we compared for the month of February. You will see that we were up compared to last February. The next set of sheets is the February unaudited expense by department. Most everything is right in line where we were last month. You will notice that the benefits amounts have jumped pretty drastically this month. That is due to workers' comp bill coming in. It's an annual bill that we have, and it's very large and makes up a good portion of those benefits. Therefore, it takes up a good bit of the budget for that line. Most everybody is pretty much in line of where they should be during the year on the expense side. Okay. The next sheet is the Sanitation Enterprise Fund income statement. You will notice on that you have a percentage of year to date on that on the revenue line item, and you also have a percentage that shows where they are through the year. That helps illustrate again where the revenues are different than the expenses. We are 33% through the year. On revenue, however, we were 41.6% through the year on expenses, just because of that accrual that happens for the month of October on both the wastewater and sanitation enterprise funds. But the sanitation enterprise fund is progressing well. The next sheet is the wastewater enterprise fund. It is set up the exact same way, and again is progressing very well through this year. You will notice that both of these funds are on revenue is above where they should be at this point during the year, and the expenses are lower than they should be at this point of the year. So both of those are positive signs. The next sheet in your packet is the bank balances report for February 2011, 12, and 13. You will notice a drastic difference if you look at the total cash between February of 2011 and February 2013. February 2011 is $1.8 million. February of 2013 is $10.8 million. Again, that does sound great and wonderful, but part of those funds are tied up in specific accounts that are only deemed for specific purposes, such as the group health fund, which is now fully funded through the month of March. So the next sheet is the accounts payable and debt balances. You will see that February 2011, the debt balance, including accounts payable and due to group health, that total balance was $60,891,000. As of February 28th, 2013, that balance is $49.9 million. So we've had a drastic decrease in the amount of accounts payable and debt balances and a drastic increase in the amount of cash balances, which is very, very positive. Of course, those are the standard reports that I've been providing. A couple of things of note to update you on. The bond refinancing that was passed. That is moving forward. The preliminary official statement has been prepared. The unaudited 2012 numbers have been added. Those have been received from Jackson Thornton. Obviously, the report has not been issued yet, so we can't put them as audited yet. The analyst with S&P has been assigned to the city, and we should be scheduling this week a meeting to meet with them and discuss the city's finances and where we are now, so that they can issue a new bond rating for us. We're hoping to have that call this next week, and then anticipating the first week of April getting an update on the bond rating, with the tentative closing being in late April for the bond, if everything falls out correctly. I know I mentioned the audit earlier. I spoke with Diane Steinhilber with Jackson Thornton today. We are anticipating to receive the audit to the council at the next meeting, April 2nd. And I believe we had discussed possibly asking Council President Wood to call a work session to go over that audit after that meeting, to give the councilors plenty of time to look over the audit and see if they have any questions and discuss that. A couple other things. One thing you'll be seeing in the near future is an investment policy for the city. As we've started to accumulate funds and reserves under the city's names, I felt it prudent that we institute an investment policy to help guide how those funds are invested, to provide more interest to the city, to help those funds grow, but also to protect those funds as well. I have already prepared that investment policy. I've provided that to David McDowell for him to overlook that and see if there's anything that he thinks we need to change from a legal aspect. The way that will be set up, it will actually become part of the city's code of ordinances. We also have a procurement policy that I've put together, procurement card policy that will kind of guide the use of all of the city's credit cards. That has never been put in place, and I've actually had it together for a little while, but with everything else going on, it just now came around where we actually had time to sit down and institute it. The last thing that I have to provide to you all is some information. In September for the fiscal year ending September 2015, all municipalities will be required to add a liability to our books. Several years ago, we were required to add a liability for the health benefits that are provided to retirees. September of 2015, we'll be required to apply a liability for the unfunded portion of retirement. Just as a for instance, and it's always been in the audit, but it's been as a footnote. But like I said, as of 2015, it will be added into the financials as a liability on the books. As a for instance, for September, the valuation for September 2010 was $13.8 million. That's obviously something that we need to be looking forward to and making plans to deal with. Obviously, we can't make up that difference in a couple of years. But as long as we have a plan and a game plan going forward to deal with that, it alleviates some of the burden of that. One thing that a lot of people are doing are setting up what's called an OPEB trust and funding retirement over what the state retirement says we should be. Obviously, we're putting in exactly what RSA says this is what you need to be putting in, but this would actually go above and beyond that. It would remain an asset of the city. It would be cash that belongs to the city, but would be locked down where it could not be used for other purposes except for retirement of employees. Obviously, RSA is eventually going to come to us and say, well, you're just going to have to start paying more. This is a way to prepare for that time and go ahead and start putting money aside. We've had a lot of discussions about this, and this will be something going forward that we will probably need to act on. So I just wanted to let everyone know.
Is that it? Sounds good. And, you know, I read an article about the last item that you brought up about retirement. I made a note to talk to Marion and bring that up, and I'm glad you brought it up to this body. That is something that we need to look at. I noticed that the city of Montgomery were planning for a lot more millions than that to fund theirs in the near future. Well, we appreciate that. We have any questions, comments from Ms. Mosley from any of the council? Ms. Bowles.
Yes, sir. On the very first page, going back to the budgeted items, I noticed that our business license at 93%, $4,031,000.
Yes.
Budgeted $4,300,000. Have y'all collected everything and counted everything? Because those were due at the end of January.
Right. We still have some more coming in. We actually have more coming in throughout the year. Obviously, if it's a contractor who is not based in the city limits of Prattville, if they don't have a job, they don't buy a business license until they have a job.
So you don't see a problem?
No, I
for that
think
to hit right?
It's very reasonable. And if you'll notice, last February year to date, it was actually 3.7 million. We're actually $251,000 over where we were last year at this point.
Good. All right. Thank you. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Bowles. Any further questions and comments for the finance director? Thank you, sir. Before we go any further, just for a footnote, we have one of our Board of Education members with us. I'd like to welcome you here, Mr. Jeffrey Keith. Last night we were privileged, this body, along with the Board of Education, Superintendent of Education, and the body of the County Commission, to again form our tri-county meetings that we had done in the past. So hopefully these meetings will continue, and again, good to have you here tonight, and we appreciate you all bringing the first meeting together, and we look forward to meeting with you all again. Thanks. Report on the council from special committees. Councilor Strickland?
No, sir.
Councilor Brown?
No, sir.
Councilor Starnes?
Yes, sir. We had a building committee to discuss surplus in 2 buildings. One's on the agenda at the vehicle maintenance lot, so I'd request your vote for that. And then also Robbie Anderson's requesting for proposals for the Gurney building for the Gloria plant. And that'll be a future endeavor. That's all I have, Mr. President.
Thank you. Councilor Chambers?
No, sir.
Councilor Bowles?
No, sir.
Councilor Boone?
Yes, sir. The Leisure Services Committee has met, and we have made a choice based on the bids that were sent in for the splash pad, and we are happy to announce that and to go forward tonight with a proposal for that. I hope that we will have your support on that. I would like to say a special thanks to Robbie Anderson, who has put in a lot of effort, a lot of personal research and time from his department on causing this process to go smoothly, and I would like to thank the Leisure Services Committee for working closely with me. Also, thank you to everyone who made a great opening day at both Newton Park and out at Whetstone. We had a great time at both places, and I really appreciate all of our city workers' support. So I would appreciate your support tonight in getting that splash pad moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and call a council work session for Tuesday, 3/26/13 at 3 p.m. to discuss the audit. That gives us a full week prior to our next meeting. 3/26/13. I think that's a Tuesday, if that's correct. At 3 p.m. Mayor, would you like to do that at Dolster or here?
How about, let me do some figuring, and I'll let you know right after, before the end of the committee meeting here.
Thank you. We're going to go ahead and plan that date, and we will get the place together before we leave. I'll either email you. Thank you. So we go into our agenda. The first item is an ordinance to surplus 1 Kubota tractor from the Urban Management Department. Councilor Boone, will you read it, please?
Yes, sir. Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Prattville, Alabama as follows, that the equipment listed below is hereby declared surplus of the Urban Management Department, and it is to be removed from the inventory of said department. Kubota M9540 HDC tractor, serial number 57567. Be it further ordained that the City Council instructs the mayor to trade in said tractor toward the purchase of the Kubota M9540 HDC tractor authorized in Resolution 2013, page 28 on March 5th, 2013. Mr. President, I so move.
We have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second? Second. We have a second. This ordinance has to have the rules suspended tonight in order to be considered. Do we have a motion to suspend the rules? So moved. We have a motion. Do we have a second? Second. We have a second. All in favor of suspending the rules signify by raising your right hand. The rules are suspended. This ordinance is now on the floor for discussion. Any discussion on this ordinance? All in favor signify by raising your right hand. And this ordinance passed. This second item is an ordinance to surplus one truck body and one 750-gallon water tank for scrap metal from the fire department. Councilor Bowles, if you read it, please.
Yes, sir. Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Prattville, Alabama as follows, that the items listed below are hereby declared surplus of the fire department and are to be removed from the inventory of said department. One truck body, one 750-gallon water tank. Be it further ordained by the City Council instructs the mayor to sell said items as scrap metal and that proceeds to be deposited in general fund. I so move.
We have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor Brown. Rules will also need to be suspended unanimously on this ordinance in order to be considered. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Have a motion to suspend the rules. We have a second. Second. Second by Councilor Strickland. All in favor of suspending the rules, raise your right hand. Rules are suspended. This ordinance is open for discussion. Any discussion? All in favor of this ordinance, signify by raising your right hand. This ordinance passes also. Item number 3 is an ordinance to surplus various equipment from the fire department. Councilor Bowles.
Yes, sir. Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Prattville, Alabama as follows, that the equipment listed in Attachment A is hereby declared surplus of the fire department and that it is to be removed from the inventory of said department. Be it further ordained that the City Council instructs mayor to sell said items through govdeals.com and that proceeds be deposited in general fund. I so move.
Have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor Stearns. This item also will need the rules to be suspended. Do we have a motion to suspend?
So moved.
Motion by Councilor Chambers. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor Boone. All in favor of suspending the rules signify by raising your right hand. The rules are suspended on this ordinance. Any discussion on this ordinance? All in favor signify by raising your right hand. This ordinance passes. Resolution number 4 is to amend the FY 2013 budget to reflect insurance proceeds in the amount of $11,201. Councilor Chambers, please read it.
Yes, sir. Whereas the Police Department Vehicle Number 38, a 2008 Chevy Impala VIN 2G1 WS 533 88 133 4726 was totaled in an accident on December 8, 2012. And whereas insurance proceeds in the amount of $11,201 were deposited into the FY 2013 budget line item insurance proceeds on February 22, 2013. And whereas the police department has a need to purchase a replacement vehicle, now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Prattville that FY 2013 budget line item insurance proceeds is hereby increased by $11,201 and that FY 2013 budget line item police department capital outlay is increased by $11,201. So moved, Mr. President.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Councilor Bowles. It's open for discussion.
I had a is that next to last line increased by $11,201? Is that correct? Both of them are increased. Should be decreased from one and increased in the other.
Well, isn't it just money coming in? So it's increased. It's
In both?
Yeah.
Okay.
Any further discussion? All in favor of this resolution signify by raising your right hand. This resolution passes. Resolution number 5 is to amend the FY 2013 budget to reflect the Coca-Cola donation and the Alabama Department of Environmental Management grant, and to award a contract for construction of a splash pad at Pratt Park to J.A. Dawson and Company in the amount not to exceed $100,000. Councilor Boone, will you read it, please?
Yes, sir. Whereas the City of Prattville desires to construct a splash pad in Pratt Park, and whereas funding for said improvements has been provided by a Coca-Cola grant, and whereas a request for proposal was sent to 11 vendors, and whereas 5 proposals were received, and whereas J.A. Dawson and Company has been selected by Leisure Services Committee to provide a splash pad at Pratt Park in an amount not to exceed $100,000. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Prattville that FY 2013 budget line item donations account is hereby increased by $100,000, and that FY 2013 budget line item leisure services capital outlay is increased by $100,000. Be it further resolved by the City Council of the City of Prattville that FY 2013 budget line item grant revenue is hereby increased by $42,000, and the FY 2013 budget line item leisure services capital outlay is increased by $42,000. Be it further resolved that the City Council of the City of Prattville hereby awards a contract for the construction of a splash pad at Pratt Park in an amount not to exceed $100,000 to J.A. Dawson and Company, and said funds are hereby approved and appropriated from FY 2013 budget line item leisure services capital outlay. Be it further resolved that Mayor Bill Gillespie Jr. is authorized to execute any and all documents necessary for the completion of and payment for this project. Mr. President, I so move.
We have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor Starnes. Be any discussion? All in favor signify by raising your right hand. The resolution passes. Resolution number 6 is to ratify and affirm the renewal of the levy of 7 mills ad valorem tax in the city of Prattville. Councilor Brown, will you read it, please?
Yes, sir. Whereas under the provisions of Section 11-5-140 Code of Alabama 1975 as amended, it is necessary for the City Council of the City of Prattville to levy ad valorem taxes on property situated in the City of Prattville for the ensuing tax year. And whereas the City Council of the City of Prattville adopted Ordinance Book 95, page 12, on April 18, 1995, now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Prattville hereby ratifies and affirms Ordinance Book 95, page 12 for the levy of the ad valorem tax rate for fiscal year 2013. Be it further resolved that the City Council of the City of Prattville hereby ratifies and affirms Ordinance Book 95, page 12 for the levy of the ad valorem tax rate for all previous years pursuant to Section 11-5-140 of the Code of Alabama 1975 as amended. Mr. President, I so move.
We have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor Boone. Be any discussion on this resolution? All in favor signify by raising your right hand. This resolution passes. Resolution number 7 shall authorize the mayor to make application for community development block grant funds for the Field of Dreams ADA compliant baseball field. Councilor Chambers, will you read it, please?
Yes, sir. Whereas the City of Prattville is eligible to submit an application for funding assistance made available under the Housing and Community Development Act of 1974 as amended through the Community Development Block Grant CDBG program administered by the Alabama Department of Economic and Community Affairs, and whereas the City of Prattville is in need of providing recreational opportunities for residents with disabilities, and whereas the City of Prattville has determined that action should be taken to address the needs of persons with disabilities in the city. Now therefore be it resolved by the City of Prattville as follows. Section 1, that the City of Prattville submits an FY 2013 CDBG Community Enhancement Fund application to the Alabama Department of Economic and Community Affairs for funding assistance in the amount of $250,000 for an ADA-compliant baseball Field of Dreams in the city of Prattville. Section 2, that the city of Prattville commits $140,000 in cash and in-kind match toward the ADA-compliant baseball field if funded by ADECA. Section 3, that the city of Prattville commits to operating and maintaining the said recreational improvements, namely the Field of Dreams ADA-compliant baseball field. Be it further resolved by the City Council of the City of Prattville that Bill Gillespie Jr., in his capacity as mayor of the City of Prattville, is hereby authorized and instructed to submit said application on behalf of the city and take other such actions as necessary to obtain the requested financial assistance. So moved, Mr. President.
We have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor Bowles. Will be any discussion on this resolution? Councilor Chambers.
Yes, sir. Just want to make sure that everybody understands that Resolutions 7 and 8 go together. Resolution 8 is a resolution that establishes the agreement between the YMCA and the City of Prattville for how these funds are to flow through the City of Prattville and their responsibilities for maintenance. The CDBG program is a federal program, and it's required to come through a governmental entity so that they are assured that things are done properly. And although we have a really great and strong YMCA, there are communities that might struggle. So that's why it comes through, and that's why it has to be done in the order or in the manner that we're doing it here. But with all this said and done, we wanted to have a public record of what our agreement is with the YMCA, and really this is their brainchild and their doings, and we just really are appreciative of y'all looking forward. And we even had an employee tonight in the fire department that has a special needs child that travels to play on this very type field, that is very, very excited that we may be able to have this. And certainly we have to go through the grant application, and it's a competitive fund, but we have met with staff at ADECA to make sure that everything is in order with the way that we've formulated these resolutions, so that we don't have a technicality that would kick us out of the program. So with that being said, I would ask for your support on both of these resolutions.
Any further discussion? Councilor Bowles.
Yes, sir. I just wanted to take a moment to say thanks to the YMCA for doing this. It's something our community needs greatly. And also thanks to Councilor Chambliss. He's put in a lot of time and effort and brought it to our forefront. And I really do appreciate your work on it, Mr. Chambliss. It was greatly done. I appreciate y'all's work. Thank you.
Any further discussion on this item? Councilor Striplin.
Yes, sir. To my fellow councilman, I support this endeavor and will vote in favor of resolution number 7. As a board member of the YMCA, I will abstain from number 8, but I support it.
Any further discussion? Councilor Boone.
Yes, sir. Mr. Chambliss, the cash and in-kind services, are those coming through the YMCA, or is the city funding those? The YMCA is funding it. We're just the conduit. Thank you.
Any further discussion on this item? All in favor, signify by raising your right hand. This resolution passes. Resolution number 8 shall authorize the mayor to sign the memorandum of understanding concerning the Prattville YMCA Special Needs Baseball Field. Councilor Chambliss.
Yes, sir. Whereas the City Council of the City of Prattville approved Resolution Book 2013, page to be filled out by our clerk, authorizing the City of Prattville to submit an application for funding assistance made available under the Housing and Community Development Act of 1974 as amended through the Community Development Block Grant CDBG program administered by the Alabama Department of Economic and Community Affairs on behalf of the Prattville YMCA. And whereas under Resolution Book 2013, page blank, the City of Prattville agreed to commit $140,000 in cash or in-kind match necessary to support the implementation of the CDBG grant. And whereas under Resolution Book 2013, page blank, the City of Prattville agreed to operate and maintain the said recreational improvements, namely the Field of Dreams ADA compliant baseball field. And whereas pursuant to the attached memorandum of understanding, the Prattville YMCA agrees to the following. YMCA shall provide for any and all cash or in-kind match necessary to support the implementation of the CDBG program, CDBG grant. Number 2, the YMCA shall operate and maintain the proposed special needs baseball field in perpetuity. Number 3, the property in question and any improvements to it will be owned and retained by the YMCA. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Prattville, that the mayor is hereby authorized and approved to sign the attached memorandum of understanding concerning the Prattville YMCA special needs baseball field. So moved, Mr. President.
Have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second? Second by Councilor Brown. Any discussion on this item? All in favor signify by raising your right hand. All opposed? Abstentions? Let the record show. One abstention. This item passes.
Thank you.
Point of privilege, Mr.
I would like to just recognize the YMCA representatives that are here, David Lewis, Ginger Henry, and Jeffrey Keith, and just appreciate y'all's hard work on this and working to make our city a better place to live. Thank you.
Thank you. Resolution number 9. Authorize the hiring of one collection system operator trainee for the wastewater department at an annual cost not to exceed $35,076. Councilor Strickland, will you read it, please?
Yes, sir. Whereas there is a need in the wastewater department to fill a vacancy for one full-time collection system operator trainee, and whereas the City Council of the City of Prattville has implemented a hiring freeze, and whereas the annual cost of hiring one collections system operator trainee will not exceed $35,076 for salary and benefits, and whereas this is a budgeted position in the wastewater department, now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Prattville that up to $35,076 is hereby authorized to be expended for the purpose of hiring one collection system operator trainee, and said funds are hereby approved and appropriated from the fiscal year 2013 budget line items, wastewater enterprise fund, salaries and wages, workers' compensation, retirement, life insurance, health insurance, and FICA. Be it further resolved by the City Council of the City of Prattville that the Human Resources Department is authorized to implement the hiring process as budgeted. So moved, Mr. Chairman.
We have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second? Second. Second by Councilor Bowles. Do we have any discussion? All in favor of this resolution signify by raising your right hand. This resolution passes. Ordinance number 10 is to surplus a dilapidated storage building located at 694 Doster Road. Councilor Starnes, will you read it, please?
Yes, sir. Be ordained by the City Council of the City of Prattville, Alabama as follows. That the building listed below is hereby declared surplus and is to be removed from the inventory of the City of Prattville. Storage building located within the Vehicle Maintenance Street Department complex at 694 Doster Road. Be it further ordained that the City Council instructs the mayor to dispose of the dilapidated structure. So moved, Mr. President.
We have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second? Second by Councilor Strickland. This is an ordinance also. It will need to be suspended if we are going to consider tonight a motion to suspend. Motion. A motion by Councilor Bowles. We have a second? Second by Councilor Chambers. All in favor? Raise your right hand. Rules have been suspended. Any discussion on this ordinance? All in favor of this ordinance signify by raising your right hand. This ordinance passes also. Number 11 is a resolution to amend FY 2013 budget and to award a contract for the re-roofing of the Doster Community Center Auditorium to Midwestern Commercial Roofers Incorporated in an amount not to exceed $52,270. Councilor Starnes, will you read it, please?
Yes, sir. Whereas the City of Prattville has a need to re-roof the Doster Community Center Auditorium, and whereas the bid was lit and sent to 10 vendors, and whereas 4 bids were received, and whereas Midwestern Commercial Roofers Incorporated was the responsible builder in the amount of $52,270. Now therefore be resolved by the City Council of the City of Prattville that fiscal year 2013 budget surplus is hereby decreased by $52,270, and the fiscal year 2013 budget line item leisure services capital outlay is increased by $52,270. Be it further resolved that the City Council of the City of Prattville hereby awards the contract in the amount of $52,270 to Midwestern Commercial Roofers Incorporated to re-roof the Doster Community Center auditorium, and said funds are approved and appropriated for fiscal 2013 budget line item leisure services capital outlay. Be it further resolved that the Mayor, Bill Gillespie Jr., is authorized to execute any and all documents necessary for the completion of and payment for this project. So moved, Mr. President.
We have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor Brown. Any discussion on this item? All in favor signify by raising your right hand. This resolution passes. Resolution number 12 is to authorize the hiring of one plant operator trainee for the wastewater department at an annual cost not to exceed $35,076. Councilor Strickland, will you read it, please?
Yes, sir. Whereas there is a need in the wastewater department to fill a vacancy for one full-time plant operator trainee, and whereas the City Council of the City of Prattville has implemented a hiring freeze, and whereas the annual cost of hiring one plant operator trainee will not exceed $35,076 for salary and benefits, whereas this is a budget position in the wastewater department. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Prattville that up to $35,076 is hereby authorized to be expended for the purpose of hiring one plant operator trainee, and said funds are hereby approved and appropriated from fiscal year 2013 budget line items wastewater enterprise fund, salaries and wages, workers' compensation, retirement, life insurance, health insurance, and FICA. Be it further resolved by the City Council of the City of Prattville that the Human Resources Department is authorized to implement the hiring process as budgeted. So moved, Mr. Chairman.
We have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second? Second by Councilor Chambers. Any discussion on this item? All in favor signify by raising your right hand. And this item passes also. That exhausts our agenda for tonight. At this time, we have comments from persons present on any item that you'd like to discuss. Come forward. You state your name, sir, for the record.
David Lewis. I live at 776 Stapleford Trail. I just want to take the opportunity to thank you each tonight for your support of the resolution you passed on the Field of Dreams. That project has been ongoing for some time. Jeffrey Keith from our staff, Ginger Henry at the hospital, who's on our board, and a number of other people have been involved, including Joel Duke from your staff, and Will Barrett, who is an engineer, local engineer, and a number of other people, Sarah Byard as well. And I just want to thank you publicly for supporting us in this endeavor as we try to serve everybody in our community. We're really excited about this opportunity and the chance to bring this field closer to people. As we understand it, there are quite a number of folks who are driving great distance to do this. Also, just wanted to take the opportunity to let you know that we have been working closely with the Parks and Recreation Department in trying to find ways that we can partner together to better serve our members and the citizens of Prattville, and trying to utilize our talents in ways that we can make good sense. And I just want to publicly thank Kelly Cook and her staff for their willingness to sit down and talk with us. We've had a number of meetings. In fact, had a meeting today with the with the swim staff about the upcoming swim season this summer. So I just wanted to make you aware of that, tell you how much we appreciate the opportunity. And Mayor, we thank you for your commitment to working together, and we stand ready to help and to do our part as well. So thank you all, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Mr. Lewis, for coming, and I'm sure I speak for this entire council that we applaud the work that the YMCA does, and we look forward to a continuing workingship with you and all the employees. Thank you very much for what you do.
Thank you so much.
Anyone else would like to come forward and speak on any item? If not, we have closing comments from Mayor.
Yes, sir. I have stepped out and made a quick phone call to Diane Stownhilber with Jackson Thornton, and she's willing to meet us here in council chambers on that date and that time. So, council chambers here. But I would like to echo some of the comments that David Lewis just made, is that I think the city of Prattville is looking to partner up with the Y or any other entity along that line that can be better beneficial to the community. And I do want to thank Kelly Cook for her leadership in her role as Parks and Recs, and I do see a great future for this city with all of us pulling together. But in closing, do want to say thank you to all the employees of the city of Prattville. They have really done a great job, not only recently, but the last 2 years that I've been in this role of mayor. And without them, we would not be in as good of a place as we are. Thank you.
Councilor Striplin.
No, sir.
Councilor Brown.
No, sir.
Councilor Stern.
No, sir.
Councilor Chambers.
No, sir.
Councilor Bowles.
No, sir.
Councilor Boone.
No, sir.
Again, let me thank all you all for coming out tonight, and also, as the mayor said, thank all employees for what you do. The employees are the backbone of this organization, and we know that, and we do thank you for what you do. Our next meeting, next city council meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, April 2nd, 2013 at 6 p.m. Again, we have a council work session for Tuesday, 3/26, 3 p.m. here in the council chambers. With that being said, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Have a second?
Second.
Have a second. All in favor signify by raising your right hand. This meeting is adjourned. Good night.